We have one in and one out in the world of women's wrestling. Charlotte Flair, the 14-time world champion, could be gone for a long period after picking up an injury on SmackDown. Meanwhile, Rebel is set to return to AEW, and she's probably never even won 14 matches in her entire wrestling career. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Double dose of the news in this video, because quite frankly, we just didn't think that any of these were worth talking about on their own, especially the Rebel one. So
yeah, so we're being wee rebels today, and we're going to discuss this.
We're getting you two for the price of one. But it's a very poor two, and we'll be the first to admit it.
We were there. We've seen Charlotte Flair get injured live on SmackDown. Weren't actually in the arena, because what sad bastard pays tickets for WWE. But yeah, we've seen it.
But yeah, we did see it, and we will talk about it secondly, because we're going to get the Rebel news over and done with. So we thought she might have been released, but it turns out Rebel is not released. According to Fightful Select, she is still under contract despite not being used in a very long time. I don't think she's been used. She's not even appeared on AEW since Britt Baker turned face, and this was a long time ago, so we're probably talking about the start of 2023.
Britt Baker's barely getting used either.
Yeah, now despite this, Rebel has been open to returning to TV if asked by AEW, who has reportedly had some internal discussions about the topic. They apparently don't have a desire to have her wrestle at the time, and if she doesn't get back in the ring before the end of the year, 2023 will mark the first year since 2014 that Rebel hasn't had a match. I personally don't look at Rebel as a wrestler. I see her more as a personality, so I think if she does come back, it's more likely to be in that role. But with AEW, the women's division is weird because they only really do one match per show or one segment per show, so it's very limited. If you're on, unless you're like at the top of the division, the chances are you ain't going to get showcased, you ain't going to get a match. So I don't know, Rebel, that she has expressed desire to go back on the independent scenes. That's probably her best bet. I heard TNA are hiring, so why not?
Well, it was once in TNA, and TNA's going back to the name.
You know what? TNA's going back to the name. They're going to try touring. They're going to go to like bigger arenas and stuff like that. I think TNA is a decent option now for people that are doing nothing in AEW and in WWE. I look at Matt freaking Hardy. What a chance he's got to get in contact with TNA, and I know he probably won't leave the AEW money, I get that, but if he really cares about his career, if he wants to go on a high, why not just try and mend the fences with, I mean, we've seen Punk and WWE mend fences, so I'm sure that Matt Hardy and TNA can mend fences, and why not just do the broken gimmick, go back to it? It's the best thing that he'd done in like a long fucking time.
Why didn't Tony Khan just buy TNA?
Not too sure, but I mean, outside of Matt hasn't been. It's the best thing Matt done since the Version 1 shit. Outside of maybe his feud with Edge, but because that was real, I'm not going to count that.
It was real.
It was real. Anyway, will Rebel return? Is that going to be real? We'll have to wait and see. But she's still employed. She's not fired. She's still there. Although, I think this proves that Tony Khan does need to do what WWE does and just start releasing people. He said he was never going to release anybody. He's not been true to his word. In the past couple of years, he has let a few people go, but it's still been minor amounts. He needs to get rid of about half the roster.
If you're not going to release people, then how do you actually get rid of people? Unless it's like Sting, who just goes.
You don't. It was basically a dig at WWE, claiming he wants to be better than that, not release anybody.
There's not a business in the world that doesn't release people.
Yeah, well, not a successful business. And AEW is not successful. But speaking of not successful, Charlotte Flair's return to a ring on SmackDown was not successful. She picked up an injury. Apparently, she was already banged up going into the match, but she has officially fucked up her knee, and it looks like it could be an ACL injury. The rumours, according to Fightful, are that she has suffered a legitimate injury during her Friday night match on Tribute to the Troops, and that she has been taken off all future house matches going forward, so all non-televised live events she's been pulled from. And at this point, it doesn't look like she's going to be in the Rumble. We're coming up to WrestleMania season. Will she be back for that? This is probably the only part of the year that she actually does return for. You know, she'll come back for Mania, probably win a belt, then maybe lose it for the next couple months, then she disappears. That's the Charlotte Flair schedule. She's almost got a Roman Reigns-like schedule despite never earning it. Not that Reigns earned it, but still. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this will fuck things up, I'm sure.
ACL, long-term injury. I mean, it's going to be a good few months, and I think with rehab and shit, you're not Mania is out the question for me.
Mania out the question?
I mean, yeah, we're looking at 4 months here. ACLs are normally like 6, I believe.
Well, suspected ACL. There's no confirmation yet, but
it looked bad though.
Yeah, she couldn't
barely stand. It was the worst figure 8 I've ever seen. It was like a figure 1.
Now she has been pulled from like live events, but I'd be shocked if she's back on TV anytime soon.
Unless it's just in a non-wrestling role.
I mean, at best, I think the Rumble's the best you could hope for. I think they would be dumb to put her in a match before the Rumble and risk doing further injury to the knee. So
I think they would be dumb just risking injury, period. I mean, let's be real. I mean, if there's a risk of injuring it way worse, does WWE need Charlotte Flair right now? That bad to risk a big injury? No. SmackDown's women, I mean, not that Raw's brilliant, but the women division of WWE is awful.
I wonder what they were going to do with Charlotte. I wonder what the plan was. Some people were saying it could be Charlotte versus Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. If they don't do that, then I guess Jade versus Bianca's their next thing, because that's kind of how it goes. 2 big black women, let's fight.
No.
You're wearing black tights, you're wearing black tights, let's be a tag team.
Jade Cargill against... If you can't do her against Charlotte, do her against Rhea.
Could be that. Could we see the return, though, of Sasha Banks? If Charlotte Flair's out, could WWE offer Sasha Banks money to return?
Money.
She is probably after Pug, she is probably the next biggest free agent out there, and that probably sums up how poor wrestling is.
That's a big drop from 1 to 2.
Well, no, but I think she is. I can't think of a free agent out there who's...
No, you're right. I mean, obviously there's people that's retired, so I'm not going to attempt to include them, and everyone else is signed up by Tony Khan's fucking circus, so... Yeah, she probably is. I'm trying to think of anyone else off the top of my head. Who else is there? Can't think of anybody.
There's nobody. That's the point we're trying to make, guys. So there you go. Charlotte Flair, she's out. Rebel is technically back in, but AEW just have nothing for her, really. If that's the case, why not fucking release her? Will WWE have to find new plans for Jade Cargill? Who knows what's going to happen? But there's a wee daily dose of wrestling news for you. We'll catch you in the next one. Let us know your thoughts down below. And the tribute to the troops didn't go too well for Charlotte Flair, but at least we got a good CM Punk promo, so I'm happy with that. And to be honest, I don't think WrestleMania needs Charlotte Flair. I'm kind of sick of seeing Charlotte Flair anyway, so I don't want to see anybody injured, but you know what, if Charlotte Flair's going to miss WrestleMania, I'm certainly not going to cry about it. That's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Although, I'm sure there'll be some people in AEW that will cry because they're a bunch of bitches over there. But yeah, here on Fog Wrestling, we certainly won't lose any sleep over it. Till next time. Woo!